Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to discuss about another important topic of CSS, that is how to use external CSS style. Okay, so prior to this session, we have already discussed two ways to include CSS in HTML document, which is inline CSS and internal CSS. So this session is in the continuation of the same, where we are going to talk about the external CSS. We'll see how to use external CSS, what is external CSS, what are the advantages of using it, what are the disadvantages of using it, and what are those scenarios or conditions where we are supposed to utilize this external CSS. Okay, but before we start the session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be very easy for you to understand the ongoing topic. Because for time being, we are just focusing on the external CSS, but prior to that, you should know what is CSS and some of the basics HTML, because we all know that CSS is something that we are going to apply on HTML structure, right? So that's why it's always better to follow the session in sequence. Clear? Fine. So I think now we are good to start with the code, and here you can see the code is very simple and straightforward. We have just noted down the basic information like title in the head section, which is showing Sharmit, and there is one heading which is CSS Cascading Style Sheets by Sharmit. Clear? And there are a few comments also. So now what we are going to do, firstly I'll show you the output of this code, which is coming like this: CSS Cascading Style Sheets by Sharmit. Now after this we will add another heading, and this heading will show the main today's topic, and today's topic is External CSS Method. Okay, so this is the heading. Now we will simply save it, and after that you can see External CSS Method has been added as a heading, second heading. Fine. Alright, so now what we are going to do after this we will simply include let me show you. Firstly, let's start with the definition first. Okay, otherwise you might get confused like what is external CSS. So if someone asks you what is external CSS in interviews or maybe in an exam, you can simply say that external CSS is a method of styling where all CSS rules are written in a separate file and linked to a HTML document using the link tab. Okay, this allows us to apply the same styles across multiple pages, ensuring consistency and reducing the code duplication. Okay, so that's the perfect definition. If someone asks you what is external CSS, you can simply say that it is a method where we apply all CSS rule in a separate file, not in the HTML document. Clear? So in case of inline, we write CSS inside the tag itself as an attribute. In case of internal, we apply CSS in the head tag. In case of external, we are going to write CSS rules in a separate file. Fine. Alright, so let's see how to do this. So to achieve this thing, what we will do, we will apply some CSS on this heading, maybe heading or body, whatever you want to apply. Okay, but through external CSS. So we all know that we are going to create a file. So to create external file, you can simply go here. If you are using VS Code, if you are not using VS Code, it's completely fine. You just need to create one file with .css extension. Let me show you how. So I can click here. Here you can put the name of your CSS file. For example, I want to create a CSS file with the name ts, which is Sharmit CSS pgm 05.css. This time I'm going to create with the extension .css, not .html. Okay, just simply hit enter. After that, you can see, in fact, like if you open a notepad, you can save the code there, and you can save that file with .css. It would also work same. Okay, so now you can see this is a CSS file. Now firstly we will write some CSS rule here. So let's say I want to apply CSS rules to heading 1. So I can simply put here h1. Then you can apply the font color and size and all. So let me apply font let's apply first color. So I can simply write it like this, red, whatever color you want to do, you want to select. Then I can select font size, and here I can select 50 pixels. Okay, now you can simply save it and refresh the browser. So what do you think? Will it affect? No. Why? Because we have just created the rule in an external CSS file, but we have not attached it with the HTML document. So the main thing is, now we are supposed to attach it with the HTML document. So how to do this? So to attach it, you just need to write one simple link tag in the head section. So just simply write here link. Here you can put first attribute as rel, which will tell the relation between this file and the file which we are going to include. So here you can simply write style sheet. Okay, so it will just give an idea that okay, this is the link tag which we are using for attaching the style sheet. After that, we will simply write here href, okay, for the reference, hyperlink reference. Here we will put the file name. So in my case, file name is tscs. Here you can see the file is already, because I'm using editor, it is predicting it. Okay, so you can simply click here. If you are not using VS Code, I would recommend you to install VS Code, because coding would be much more easier for you if you are using VS Code. Okay, but if you want to practice and if you are writing the code for the very first time, you can use it any editor, it doesn't matter. Okay, but if you want to check how to install VS Code, there is a one session maybe in the HTML playlist, or you can search VS Code installation by Sharmit, you will get that session. Okay, fine. So after including this, you can save the code and refresh the browser, and now you can see the magic. Once I refresh the browser, it shows that the font color of the heading 1 is changed to red color, and the size is also changed to 50 pixel, and that's what we were looking for, right? Perfect. All right, so now are we supposed to write only one property or one CSS rule? No, it's not like that. If you want, you can include more. For example, if I want to apply some CSS rule to the body, because this is also a kind of selector, right? So here, let's say I want to apply the background color. So I can simply write here background color as aqua, or whatever color you want to select. Now you can simply save it and refresh the browser. So once I refresh the browser, you can see it is showing me the background, full body background as a aqua color, and other CSS is also applied, whatever we have applied. Clear? This is H2, that's why it is not coming with a red color and 50 pixels. If you include many other H1 heading, all heading would be applied with this attributes. Clear? Fine. Now we are good with this thing. So I'm pretty much sure that you are confident with the head definition, like what is external CSS, how to create file creation is also simple. You just need to create one file with a .css extension, and then you can use one link tag to include your file in this code. Okay, now let's see the advantages of external CSS, because now we know how to create it, right? So the first advantage of external CSS is reusability. Yes, you can see here, if there are multiple HTML pages and there I want to use the same CSS, I can simply use this line. Okay, I can link that CSS with all those pages where I want to show the same thing, and it would work. And that's why we can say that we can apply style across multiple pages by ensuring and by simply including this, by attaching the CSS file. Second advantage is separation of concern. Yes, here we are writing everything separately. HTML structure is separate, CSS rules are separate, so it won't cause any issue. Easy to maintain. Yes, if we are maintaining everything separately, for sure it is easy to maintain. It improves the performance. Yes, because browser can cache external CSS file, and which reduce the load time of subsequent page visits. Okay, then scalability. Yes, external CSS is ideal for large project with multiple pages, as it allows you to organize and manage style efficiently. Okay, collaboration friendly. Yes, it is, because teams can work on HTML and CSS file independently. Suppose there are two teams, one would like to work for CSS thing, so they can simply work on CSS file. One want to work for HTML, they can separately work on HTML file. Clear? Fine. So these are the advantages. Now the question comes, do we have any disadvantages here? Yes, everything has both thing like advantages and disadvantage. So the disadvantage of external CSS is additional HTTP request. Yes, because linking an external CSS file requires an additional HTTP request, which can slightly increase page load time for the first visit. Okay. Then we have file dependency. Yes, if the external CSS file fails to load due to broken link or maybe any reason, the page will be unstyled. That's the issue. Okay, because if you are writing CSS in the same code, then there is no chance of it, right? But if you are using external CSS file, there is a chance. Okay, fine. Then these are some advantages. Now question comes like, where to use it then? So you can use it in a projects where multi-pages websites are there, large projects are there, collaborative projects are there. Okay, so in such situation you can utilize the external CSS. Okay, fine. Now let's talk about the specificity or priority, because we all know that inline has the highest one, internal has the second highest, then for sure the external has the third highest specificity or priority. Okay, so I hope this thing we will maybe discuss in upcoming. I'll show you the comparison between three again, just to clear like how specificity or priority works. Okay, but in this session we just discuss how to create a CSS file as an external file, how to attach it with a HTML code, and what are the advantages, disadvantages, and scenarios where we are supposed to utilize the CSS, external CSS. That's all for today. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.